Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about another really common topic at this point in the IELTS cycle, and that is describe a popular / well-known person in your country. Okay, now my strategy here is always to tie this back to something that I can talk about well. Okay, now I think for a lot of people, this is going to be a business-related topic. You know, I think for a lot of Japanese, they would love to talk about someone like Koji Mikitani or Masayoshi Son. I also think that you can talk about the CEO of your company, all right? Even though he may not be very popular, you can still say he's well known. At least he's well known by everyone in your company, so that's enough, all right? Now, of course, if you are not a business person and you'd prefer to talk about a sports person, I think that's also an easy thing to do. Of course, Shohei Ohtani would be a good one to talk about. I think there's a lot of important things we've got to consider in this. We've got to think about what is easiest for us to talk about. And when I mean what is easiest, not the easiest, but the thing that allows us to easily bring out some good vocabulary that we know. And that's why I want you to talk about your strong points. And if that is business, which for most of you it is, please bring out that topic. Okay? Do you have any questions about that? If you do, please put them down there. I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, now my strategy in the 1 minute is going to think about why I know this person, okay, how he shot to fame, and why he or she, is so popular, what he's done over the days, and how, at the end, the last 30 seconds, I'm going to talk about how I would like to emulate that person. All right? So, this is my strategy. The first 30 seconds is to talk a little bit about why I know this person. Then 60 seconds, which is the key, is to talk about the person. And then finally to talk about what I'd like to do. All right, so I'd like to talk about Masayoshi Son, who happens to be a very well-known person in my country. So to give you a little background, I first heard about Masayoshi Son when I was in university. At that time, he was running an up-and-coming company called SoftBank. It was the new telecommunications provider at that time. So I began to become very interested in him. I heard a lot about him from my friends and from the newspapers. I looked into his history and I found out that he had studied abroad. I think it was Stanford University or somewhere like that. He came back and then he acquired this company. He turned it from this small wholesaler or something like that into this huge conglomerate that not only provides telecommunication service, but now it also has wind farms and solar power stations. He also has one of the largest venture capital funds in the world. He is an amazing success story. I think he's a great example of perseverance and also insight. I believe that people like Masayoshi Son are very rare in today's business world. I would love to emulate his success. It's one of the reasons why I'm hoping to do an MBA. I hope that I can learn a lot about entrepreneurial skills. I can also learn about leadership. And most importantly, I can learn about the vision to guide a company to such global success. So yeah, I think Masayoshi Son is really popular because he's such a successful business person. Okay, any questions there? I'm sure you have lots of questions. If you don't understand something, please put them down here. I'll be happy to respond to them. There's lots of good vocabulary that you can use in here. You can see that I've talked about Masayoshi Son. Even though I don't know a lot about him, I've talked about him with some really good business level vocabulary. I think that Shohei Ohtani could also be a great person to talk about at the moment. I believe that even though it's not business level, we could probably adapt it. So yeah, if you have any ideas about that, please put them down below as well, and we'll have a good discussion about that. All right, let's go to task 3. So the questions here are quite interesting, in fact. The first question, what kinds of people are popular at work? All right, so now, of course, if you don't catch it, you can say, would you mind repeating that? All right, it's very important. So what kinds of people are popular at work? I think outgoing people are really popular. People who love to talk to others are, of course, going to be more popular than the insular types of people. But also collaborative people, people who are willing to help others are going to be popular. All right. So I've talked about 2 types of people. Firstly, I talked about the outgoing people. And then secondly, I talked about the collaborative people. I think that's easier. Rather than just talking about outgoing people for 20 seconds, it's going to become difficult. I just thought I'd talk a little bit about the outgoing people and a little bit about the collaborative people, so then I can extend my answer to 20 seconds easily. Okay. The second question, are bosses more popular than employees at work? Are bosses more popular than employees at work? Now, I've practiced this question with a lot of high-level people, and they've all struggled with this question. I think the concept is a little bit tough to understand, but let me try and answer. So are bosses more popular than employees at work? No, I don't think so. I believe that many people have a certain animosity towards their bosses, but they have a kind of sense of camaraderie with their colleagues. So yeah, I believe that people prefer to hang out with their colleagues rather than with their bosses. Okay, now that's a high-level answer. All right, I'm sure that it's not easy for you to come up with these phrases, but now you know these phrases, practice them. A certain level of animosity. A certain level of animosity. Okay, great phrase. Okay, the other one is the sense of camaraderie. Sense of camaraderie. Okay, these are 2 phrases that I think you can use in IELTS speaking, IELTS writing, and in general conversation. Okay, you'll definitely hear them when you go abroad. Okay, the next question. Which is more important, keeping a good relationship with co-workers or doing well at work? Okay, now, that's a tough question. I've never thought about that. I think both are important. You know, we should keep a good relationship with co-workers. Otherwise, there'll be fights and it won't be easy for us to succeed. But at the same time, we need to do well in our work. If we don't do well in our work, then we'll be out. We'll be fired. So yeah, I think both are important. Okay, so here I'm not going to choose one. I go for the both. And then I talk a little bit about this one and a little bit about that one. Okay, once again, I think it's much easier to talk a little bit about 2 or 3 topics than just one topic. All right. Then the last question. What benefits are there when a child is popular at school? What benefits are there when a child is popular at school? Oh, there are numerous benefits. When a child is popular at school, he or she will have more friends. He or she will feel happy to go to school, and that's a huge benefit. Many children don't want to go to school, and that's because they don't have friends, or that's because they feel intimidated. So yeah, I think there are lots of benefits to being popular at school. Okay. So one strategy here was I talked about the positive, and then I talked about the negative side. So when children are popular, they have lots of friends, they want to go to school. If they're not popular, they don't want to go to school. Okay, so using the positive side and the negative side helps me extend my answer. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, please put them down below, and I will try to incorporate new videos, or I will